show me going to Kingston.
430, Tech 1.
Your ass open. Let's get y'all taking them to
Shooting a little Chris. Okay, that night, I'm just letting you know what's going on today, okay?
Okay.
Alright. This isn't like a debate or anything.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A GSR kit was done, a gunshot residue kit was done on you.
Yes, sir.
Ballistics test was done.
Even though I didn't do it, but whatever, like, that shit weird for you to be out here taking them.
Free real, Mad Max data, mad rat, hold no limit, bitches. Hold no limit, snitch.
They said don't speak on Max. That a rat. Y'all talking about Max. Don't get me started on my boy, folks. That nigga told.
Hey, yo, squad, what's the drill? Back with another video, man. You know, Chicago been known for breeding some of the illest rappers and some of the rawest folks in the streets. But NLMB had a super soldier on their ranks, getting busy on the ops. Mad Maxx was an op-stalking machine with a body count allegedly crossing double digits. His rise was legendary, but his fall tarnished his name as an alleged snitch that told on his deathbed. So today, we present the facts, the details, and everything else about his life, how it ended, and the aftermath of him being gone. So without further ado, let's skip the play and get down to business. When it comes to Mad Maxx, his bodies are allegedly extensive and mainly just tossed in based on hearsay. So I dug a bit deeper to give details nobody else reporting on. Details that made him a special character in the streets, and especially details on how the hit on his life went down with footage and official unsealed police reports and proof the snitching allegations were real. Christopher Jackson was known to the streets as Mad Maxx. His upbringing was in Eastside Chicago. He was surrounded by the gang culture. It wasn't only on the outside in the streets, but it ran in his family. What made it worse is his mother had to manage the weight of taking care of him after his father, Michael Bolden, lost his life in July 2007 when Mad Maxx was just a jit at 12 years old. I deep dived into the internet wormhole and found his obituary info, which supports the time frame his pops passed. Mad Maxx lost a pillar in his life, but it also affected his sisters and two others he claimed to be his brothers, G-Main Ski and Marley. With his moms trying her best to cope, Mad Maxx, Marley, and G-Main Ski joined the family business as learning soldiers under NLMB. NLMB growing popularity due to G Herbo, who went by Lil Herb back in the day, and Lil Bibby when they got into the rap game. NLMB found their origins in 79th Street, grimly known as Terrortown, and had a firm structure that passed down the gang ways to the next generation. Mad Maxx was one of the members that had something different in him. It was like he was born to be wild, showing the ways of the streets by his uncle Big Los, Rodney, and white folks. The monster within him was brewing, and it was necessary given the number of ops that were standing in the NLMB path. Two of the main ones being Renegade GD Savages KTS Vaughn and Black Mob, along with Shooter Shells. Mad Maxx had the mindset of the streets, but as he grew, life turned him into a seasoned hitter that will become a secret weapon for NLMB. The more dirt he did, the more Mad Maxx was transforming into a cold-blooded hitter. The loss of his uncles would tip him over the edge. Word on the street is that the Lakeside Ops called white folks lacking in 2006, but he was a fighter and pulled through. Sadly, his injuries never healed up and he succumbed to complications in 2011. Herbo often shouted him out online and on the songs like Write My Name off his 2014 Welcome to Phazoland mixtape. The mixtape was dedicated to his homie Faison Robinson, aka NLMB Phazo, aka G Phazo, who was hit up on April 12, 2010 when the ops shot him in the back in Chicago's Southside. The loss hit Mad Maxx heavy, but the next unk to pass would be a harder blow. Carlos Alexander, aka Big Los, was walking outside his home on October 31st, 2012 in the 7900 block of South Escanaba Avenue about 10:30 a.m. when he was approached by two hitters who opened fire before fleeing on foot. The torch was passed on to Mad Maxx to become the man of the house, and he vowed to keep Los's memory alive. His villain arc turned up a notch. Mad Maxx was already spinning blocks, but now the blocks were being spun viciously, always outside ready to stretch something.
The only people outside, these no limbs.
Mad Maxx's name became as feared as the Boogeyman. Word on the street built up of his body count to double-digit status, including fallen ops from Outlaw City, Lakeside, KTS, and MTG. While many stories are from the grapevine in the streets, the one that was publicly confirmed shows how much of a demon Mad Maxx was and why he was NLMB's secret weapon. The last name on that list, Shooter Shells from Black Mob, felt the full force of Mad Maxx's wrath. He was the Mad Maxx of Black Mob, but in a battle for the Savage title, NLMB's Mad Maxx came out on top. Reports state that on July 10th, 2017, Cedrin Doles, aka Shooter Shells, was approaching his vehicle at 9:32 a.m. in the 8100 block of South Paulina when 3 shooters got out of a white vehicle and fired several shots. He was wet up multiple times and lost his life at the scene at 9:40 a.m. Investigators believe it was a targeted hit linked to NLMB due to connections in his diss track Death of 150 released months prior to his murking. No lie, bro was cold on the beat, but say something on wax, NLMB releases Mad Maxx. A couple days after Shells was dropped, Mad Maxx would be arrested for having a firearm with the serial number scraped off. In 2021, after both passed, unsealed court documents show that the feds had Christopher Jackson, aka Mad Maxx, as one of the suspects in the gruesome hit. Mad Maxx was on a bloody path and ops were getting put in the ground. The cops probably would have finally got to him for Shooter Shells if he was still alive after the findings, but before that, they were trying hard and failing to keep bro locked. Maxx was in and out of prison so many times for terrorizing his ops. You could make a photo album with his mugshots. Bro was doing numbers in the scoreboard, but as with anyone that's living that life so dangerously, his time was sure to come. That's the cycle of the streets, man. That day came on August 3rd, 2018. Reports would surface stating that a man was standing in the courtyard of a building at 3:09 p.m. in the 7600 block of South Kingston when he was shot in the arm but taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center where his condition stabilized. That weekend in Chicago was all-out horror, labeled the deadliest weekend in the city that year. Many mourned and many were in pain from the losses. The man that was listed as shot in the arm turned out to be Mad Maxx, and it was more grim than the reports made it seem. Mad Maxx was moving into his mom's spot when an op got the drop chasing him down, ended with Mad Maxx being popped. Cops were being alerted by a caller stating somebody got shot, and it might have been due to a burglary. The caller also said that the person, who is Mad Maxx, is awake and breathing.
He's down at the gateway at the location. Someone tried to live on that further. He's awake and breathing. He's on their radio set.
They arrived at the scene to find Christopher Jackson, aka Mad Maxx, with bullet wounds to his right upper arm and stomach. And unlike earlier news reports, the actual police report stated that Maxx was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. Obtained footage from the entire moment the cops arrived to apprehending the main suspect shows the long process of the time cops pulled up to meet Mad Maxx on the ground. Most of it is blurred in parts, as only the police would have the regular version, but you can hear Mad Maxx screaming in pain as the paramedics try to get him onto a stretcher and tend to his wounds. Someone beside him tries to keep him awake, saying, "Keep your eyes open, little bro." Part of the video that's unblurred when everyone clears out shows the bloodstains on the floor where Mad Maxx was hit up as cops get the tape to corner off the area.
You got tape? Hey, you want to these two different shows. No, hold on. This is a crime scene, bud. Everybody back up. This is a crime scene. Everybody back out that way.
The crazy thing about all this is that it shows how cold the streets is. People around wasn't even trying to assist in saving bro life.
Man, we need just a couple questions real quick. Then we'll
He could talk, I could tell y'all his name. Anything else I can't tell y'all.
Can't tell us his birthday? Thing is, we don't want to interrupt the paramedics right now. Try to help him out.
I'm sorry, I can't even talk.
Okay, that's fine.
Daddy screamed, I'm trying to see
That's why we can't talk to him. We're trying to get information for you to help find the shooter.
So he could go.
You gotta help us.
So about her not giving your name, we can't move.
The hunt was on for the shooter. A kid would wave down cops telling them a dude with a black hoodie and dreads was just shooting at someone.
You got a bag? What? So you guys, kid waved us down. Hey, guy in a black hoodie with dreads was just shooting at someone.
They swooped him up right quick and arrested him, and he had a gun on him as well. When they asked where he got it from, he said he found it somewhere. Surveillance footage where they found him debunked that statement, because where he said he picked it up, he didn't. He already had the strap on him.
Yeah, back it up a little bit. Back it up a little bit. I'm gonna put it back. I'm gonna put it on this tape right here. So that passes by. Okay. Yeah. So the guy said he says he found the gun. He didn't find the gun. He shot somebody down the block, and the police came around the block and caught him. So I'm recording this now on my camera. The fact that he said he picked up the gun, he didn't.
He caught Mad Maxx lacking, and the cops caught him lacking. It's a hood lackathon.
They got your ass on camera.
Got me on camera.
This is the clearest video I've ever seen. This is the most HD shit ever.
An eyewitness at the scene would also describe a dude with long dreads, including that he had blonde tips and was able to ID the suspect in the whip.
If he has long dreads with blonde tips, that's
Long dreads with blonde tips? Yeah. Okay, don't move, okay?
The suspect was the respectable Lakeside banger Terrell Webb, aka KTS Hell Rail, aka Big Lakeside. You know, with a name like Big Lakeside, you ain't nothing to mess with. You might be saying, but the eyewitness stated somebody with dreads. Well, those clips were the second time they held him. When they held him on the day Mad Maxx was wet up, he had his dreads. Big Lakeside was released after, as Mad Maxx was still alive, but a twist of fates changed both of their lives. Mad Maxx would pass away in the hospital a month later from his injuries, and the case status was updated. A man now lost his life due to the shooting. What's even wilder is that according to investigators, Mad Maxx allegedly snitched on his deathbed, identifying Big Lakeside as the one who murked him. Official report documents will be released confirming in the documentation that Mad Maxx told. Big Lakeside and them would celebrate him being home and diss Maxx, not knowing what was about to change. He would post a blurred clip of the alleged video of Maxx snitching on his deathbed, threatening to release the tape that his lawyer got a hold of, but alleged video was never released. With the release of the documents, the timeline became clear. The truth is that Mad Maxx spoke to detectives on August 10th and told them about Big Lakeside, and a warrant was put out for his arrest for attempted hit charge because Maxx was still living at that point. Big Lakeside tried to dip but was arrested in Iowa on August 22nd. September 3rd, Mad Maxx passed away, and that's when Webb, aka Big Lakeside, had the charges upgraded to murder and was held without bail after being extradited from Iowa to Chicago.
Nearly 2 months, but Chicago police have filed their first charge stemming from the deadliest weekend Chicago has seen this year. 27-year-old Terrell Webb is accused of a rival gang member. Back to the feds Big Lakeside went, and this time it was serious business as they let bro know the case is no longer about a gun charge, but about a homicide. It was at that moment he knew he effed up. He was facing 45 years to life and blamed it all on Maxx for snitching. Before that last time he was locked up, Big Lakeside started pushing music. He dropped a diss track exposing Mad Maxx for ratting. And no lie, it was hard. Bro had some talent, wasted talent, but talent nonetheless.
Wish a told him, be stand up, don't resort to it. Snitching, damn Maxx, so get it. You have bodies, you get popped, and you gon' tell you must be kidding.
In the vid, Big Lakeside wears the shirt with Mad Maxx saying 150K, giving off Shooter Shell's Death for 150 vibes. Promoting the song, he also posted the shirt online, laughing at Mad Maxx with the caption, "The last time you'll ever touch money." In an interview on the Chris Barnes show, Big Lakeside broke down how he felt when he heard Mad Maxx had told. Disappointed that somebody that got so many bodies would turn rat when dying, especially since he's innocent.
I was wrongfully charged, man. I ain't gonna lie, I was wrongfully charged, man, for that shit. I mean, when it came back, like he said my name on that shit. I'm like, damn, what? You know? So basically, I'm like, damn, like, you know, I ain't do that shit with blood, you feel me?
In that same interview, he let it be known that in order to dodge life in prison, a deal was on the table and he's taking it. He decided that it's best to do some time instead because even if he's innocent and can fight the case, he's scared of how the justice system does African Americans with a pass. So best bet is to do a couple years and be out instead of fighting and losing and doing life.
So, you said that you were about to take some time
for the situation. And I mean, I understand.
The only reason I'm taking time, only because I'm scared. Hell yeah, I'm odds against me.
Big Lakeside will be sentenced to 10 years, but is projected to be out in 2026. His affiliates were heated, coming at Mad Maxx and them for going outside and ratting.
Free real, Mad Maxx data, Mad Rat, Hold No Limit, bitches. Hold No Limit, snitches.
They said don't speak on Max. That a rat. Y'all talking about Max. Don't get me started on my boy, folks. That nigga told.
Mad Maxx was a huge loss to NLMB, and they made sure to send him off with everybody right down to G Herbo showing up for the funeral and paying for his name to be flown in the sky by a plane with the statement, "See money, NLMB for life." But there you have it. It's a wrap, yo. Until next time, stay smart, stay alert, and stay real. I'm out, y'all.